Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Monday's Masterclass with myself, Phillip Llewellyn. We do this every Monday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. GMT in the UK. I'm joined this evening by Jeanie Marshall, my co-host for the vast majority of this afternoon's webinar. Jeanie's here because she has a quest for knowledge and wanted to know things, and was the reason why we did part one of this series last week. And I'm so pleased that Jeanie is able to join me this evening in a quest to satiate her sort of appetite for knowledge and information even more. She's now going to come on live with a microphone as well. We're going to record it for it. And we're going to get this. Ooh, that was a bit weird.
You cut out, but
I cut out, but now I'm back. Is that okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
I'm hearing a little feedback, but is it okay? Have you introduced me?
Right, let me go on to introduce Jeanie, and then I can sort myself out with my audio here. So it's an absolute pleasure to hand you over to Jeanie Marshall, who's over there in Southern California. I've got to know this lady very well in a short period of time. I enjoy presenting and co-presenting and hosting with her, having discussions with her. She's a very powerful lady to know. She's a very powerful lady to have conversations with. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker, motivational coach, behavior. It could go on. But I'll just hand you over to the dulcet tones of my co-host this evening, Jeanie Marshall. Are you with me?
Yes, I am, Philip. Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. And for sure, even though you won't admit it, I've been pestering you for information. And there is a real quest for knowledge in me, much more than I need to know. It really comes from wanting to know. And quite honestly, I want to know enough that I could teach to someone else, even if I don't teach to someone else. So that's what I want to know. But it's way more than I need to know, way more than anybody else needs to know. But that has been a driving force. And so as I kept asking Philip for information, he said, please develop a list of questions so you can pull the information from me. So I sat down to write. And I decided the best way for me to do that was to develop profiles. I developed only 2 of them so that I could get inside the vendor and come up with the questions that the vendor might want to know, not just what I would like to know. And so the 2 profiles were, number 1, someone who delivers services to a clientele or a customer base, and then has developed some products. All different kinds of people, but that idea where there's already a customer base for the services, and then for the products, and of course beyond just that client base. And then profile 2, I identified as an agent who represents artists or craftspeople. And in part 1, Philip used the term consortium. So that idea where there's one focal point, but different people providing the products. And I just sat down and wrote out questions. And I will tell you, by doing that, I learned a lot. I learned better what I already knew. I learned better what I didn't know. And it clarified for me, even though I was still very eager for Philip's answers. And so for part 1, Philip actually played both parts on the masterclass, asking and answering the questions. And he provided a wealth of knowledge. There's so much information in there. And so it definitely, we want to encourage you to go and listen to that. We're going to summarize some of the key points here. But if you really want to capture much more, go and listen. And to you as the listener right now, listen throughout for what you need to know. And know that you only need to know enough. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know enough. You don't need to know all that Phillip knows. He'll be there to back you up, back us all up, until there's enough information and it's just generally better known, and then we'll all help each other in this. So you just need to know enough for that first conversation, and then enough for the next conversation, and so on and so forth. So my first listening of part 1, the replay, I was still very much in the want to know, I want to know. And then it began to shift into knowing what I needed to know, and then to knowing I know enough, and I relaxed. Okay, so that was my process of just really recognizing I know enough. And then on my second listening, I've listened 3 times now to part 1. On the second listening, I heard something I've heard many times from Phillip, but I heard it in a different way. And that was his passion for developing community. And to me, this is so key. I don't need a shopping platform, I'll be really honest with you. It's the community. It's what we can create together using e-commerce in order to grow, to change a lot of things that are going on in the world, quite honestly. And so as you are thinking about reaching out to vendors, remember, you don't have to answer every question. It's okay to say, I don't know. And you can say, I don't know, in a lot of different ways. You can feel all disempowered and shameful, or you can say it just bravely. I don't know. Here's an opportunity for me to learn something new. I'll get back to you on that. Or let me try to get Phillip on the phone to answer that. So it's a process. It's not just a presentation. You want to engage with the potential vendor. So I want to tell you a story about why I wasn't here for part 2. It was Monday morning and I had my shoes on. That means I'm ready to leave. I practically had my hand on the doorknob and I heard the Facebook notification go off. Now, most people are muted, so I knew it was an important message. So it was Phillip asking me to come on the call and ask him the questions. Well, when I tell you where I was going, you'll know I really wish I could have done that. It would have been so much fun. I mean, I can think of a whole lot of things I would rather do than what I was doing. But I was just about to drive out in Los Angeles rush hour traffic to go to a dentist, a new dentist, a dentist I've been looking for a long time, holistic. Oh, I mean, this dentist is incredible. And I saw his website and I just knew this was the one I wanted to work with. And he's charming beyond words. He even asked me about me. We actually talked about me, not just my teeth, and he shared information about himself. So he's very personable and very knowledgeable, and it was truly a great experience. I will admit, it was a great dental experience. And as I was leaving, I discovered he has a line of products, a healthy line of oral products. And so there are words on the labels like non-GMO, gluten-free, other things that I read for before I buy a product. And so I said, I think we have something else going here. And it's so interesting because right at that moment, Phillip was recording part 1 giving everyone else the information I wanted and needed at that moment. So I just relaxed into it. I knew I didn't need to know everything by then, and I got the process started. And it was 2 days later that I heard the replay. And when I heard the replay, I realized this dentist was my profile one. I had no idea he had a line of products. There he was. I had envisioned the kinds of people I wanted to work with, and he showed up. So I share that with you because it's really important for you to do some of your own dreaming or envisioning, visualizing, whatever you might want to call it, and think, who do you want to work with? What are the products you want to buy? And if you don't want to approach those vendors, we can help. You will still open up the whole field for bringing in the kinds of vendors we want to work with and the products we want to buy. And I will say, and not just because they're listening right now, because I said this in the earlier version of this that didn't get recorded. The bar has been set high with our first UK vendors. Tess and Colin have a line of products that they've developed. They are educators. They speak about what these products are all about and their own vision. And this dentist is very similar. So the bar is set high also for one of the early vendors in the USA. And to fill you in a little bit, Philip and I have had a three-way conversation with this dentist, a wonderful conversation. After an hour, and Philip had to move on, I continued the dialogue, and my dentist was driving the same route I drove in reverse, and he was hours getting to where he wanted to go. So we had a big laugh about that, but we were able to continue to talk, to get to know each other. So we never know how it's going to happen. Just we want to be open for it, and it will come if we have any inclination. Now, before I move to the next part, I do want to give Philip a chance to add anything, say anything before I move on. And in the next part, what I'm planning to do is to highlight some of the important points from part one in order to bring them forward, and then allow Philip to make his comments on my summary so that we get clear on that. So Philip, you want to add anything before I move on?
Yep, certainly. Very little. Fantastic. Thank you, Jeanie, for sharing that. Sorry if my microphone, if I'm sounding a little clipped again. I was told just before we pressed record, I found the perfect audio recording device, only to realize it's not charged. So,
oh boy, I'm gonna razz you on that one, Philip.
I know you were. I know you were.
Well, you're not clipped now.
So
by the way,
all I would say is thank you for drawing the importance and the attention to community, because that's so important to me. That is going to be the be all and end all, especially in these early stages when we're in, you call it the stage of creation, the stage of development. I love it myself because we have an opportunity right now to sort of mold this business platform in the eyes of the early adopters themselves, because Jeanie's right. Who do you want to buy from? What products do you want to buy? What ethos do you subscribe to? What would you like our vendors' ethoses and morals and moral compass and principles to be? Because here's something that I've come to realize. I'm 55 in 3 days' time now, right? So I've lived half my life, okay, on reliable averages. But I've come to realize that you have more in today's society every time you open your wallet than you ever do walking into a ballot box. And I really believe that we can shape the future and the world that we want with what we decide to spend our money on. Because I've come to realize something else, that we all go to these pretend jobs, these 9-to-5 pretend jobs. And I call them pretend jobs because here's the thing, you know what our real jobs are now in today's economy? Our real jobs are consumer. And what we're supposed to do for our real job is shop. Because if everyone stopped shopping, the world would come to a grinding halt. We live on consumerism. So now when we realize that, and we also realize that with every single transaction comes a profit. And if we can intervene on behalf of the network and the community we're building with as many transactions as we can and share the profit within that ecosystem of that community, then that's it, game over. And we can bring people in. And this isn't about selling things either, Jeanie, and that was fantastically alluded to as well. This is not necessarily about products, people who have products that need to sell. This is more about people that have products, but they need to educate as to why these products are needed. Okay, and that's where Jeanie's Dentist comes in, and those products that are liners coming in online. That's when Ninjas comes in with education as to why nutrition, what it's all about. And yes, those are the people that we want. This isn't about buying a 2-liter bottle of PET Coca-Cola for $2, right? This is about building something that we can determine the future of the world on as well. And that's a big, hairy goal, I know. So anyway, thank you, Jeanie, for crystallizing that. I'm back over to you.
Okay. Wonderful, and thank you for that idea of our job is shopping. I like that. There are truly a lot of different kind of vendors, and I know that I am particularly interested in a certain kind of vendor. But we eventually will probably bring in many. So it's really not practical to list every possible scenario. But in thinking about vendors, we might start with, in other words, right now, when we're in this period of time, I have kind of come up with some thoughts, and Philip, I want your comments at the end. So we're looking for a range of entrepreneurial vendors. They might be inventors, designers, professionals, etc. People who are gardeners who make jams and jellies, or carpenters with bird houses, but entrepreneurial vendors. And we expect that our vendors already have an internet presence for their products and are actively selling and fulfilling orders. We're particularly interested in products that are environmentally friendly, and of course, those that appeal to our members. And we're looking for vendors we believe will add value to our community. So right now we're focusing on vendors who ship to one or more countries where we already have members: the USA, the UK, Canada, Australia. And the plan is to be even more global, but we start where we are. And all the vendors must go through an approval process. We're not looking for affiliates of network marketing products because they have a different selling model. So we're also looking for members who are willing to scout out products they want to purchase in their own stores, and vendors they want to work with. So we're looking for vendors, but we're also looking for members who want to engage with vendors. So Philip, does that capture somewhat of where we are now? And of course, some of these things are subject to change when we get directives from VIP Global, but does that capture it?
Perfectly, absolutely perfectly, and especially with regards to vendors wanting to partake in our community as well. And this came over very clear with conversations I've had visiting over the States with Richard Ramos in particular, because I'm looking at business. Obviously, what they've done over there is working, so modeling it. And he said, when you look at the successful vendors, they're the ones that turn up every 2 months to the corporate events. They're the ones that set up a stall and test all the members so they can see these people. They actively promote their products within the community. And the community therefore promotes and supports them. Because what we have to realize as well, Jeanie, is we could have members soon, you know, in the thousands, in the tens of thousands, in the hundreds of thousands. Well, all of a sudden, if someone in this business is an entrepreneur and they've got a business, say they've got a team of 10 or 15 or 20,000 people, and all of a sudden they're talking to a vendor, my goodness, that vendor will realize that you have a potential audience of a team of 20, a community of 20,000, 30,000 people you can recommend this product to if you think it's worthy of it. And that is the main thing here. The deciding factor always has to be in the interests of the members. Yes, we have to have the right vendors, but if the members don't want to buy those vendors' products, then there's no point in being there. Because we as a platform don't charge them anything and at all to be there on a large basis, so they don't sell anything, then the community doesn't make any money either. Thank you, Jeanie.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Philip. So there were many key points in part one, and I've selected a few to summarize here. And again, Philip will comment on those because it's really important. I could have misheard something. So if he needs to correct anything, we want to get it corrected now. And keep in mind that I went through the information with the idea to convey enough information to help our members be confident about approaching a vendor. This is not a tutorial on the whole process. It's just to have enough and the accurate information. Okay, so the first key point I selected, and I'll interrupt myself to say, please go back and listen directly to part one to pick up much more information than we can possibly cover today. So the first key point, why a vendor would join Incentivise. And I do want to say that there are so many variables for vendors and for members and countries and all that. I'd just like to suggest that a rule of thumb for you, the member, is to know enough about the vendor and or the vendor's products to know if this might be a good match, and then approach each one personally. Okay, just as kind of having that sense of yeah, this could be a match. Okay, so the key reasons for being a vendor, I've put in a sentence, and that is that we are Incentivise. We are offering targeted and incentivized traffic through our members who are required to make monthly sales, which qualify them to receive commissions. Okay. And many times I've heard you, Philip, and Kyle also say the wonderful phrase, customers included, which is really a powerful message for anyone wanting to sell something. And of course, we are also wanting to be members who want to buy something, customers who want to buy something, little different nuance there. So the customers, our members, are required to purchase a certain amount each month to qualify them to receive commissions. So these are incentivized sales. The required sales amount varies according to rank achievement and can be roughly, approximately, maybe in this vicinity, about $50 to $200 per month. So Philip, did I get that? Is that accurate?
That sounded pretty accurate to me, Jeanie. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, great. Now, as to our number of members, that's the next topic, because this is something, obviously, our vendors will want to know, how many members do you have? So as to the number of members, I truly loved hearing what you said in part one, Philip, which is just filled with information, but I can't do Phillip Llewellyn. So what I'd like to ask you to do is to give one or two ideas of what members might say if a vendor asks, how many members do you have? So that it's general enough, specific enough, it's enough. What might they convey?
Okay, so the great news is that right now we're pre-launching this business, and it's going to be launched in weeks thereabouts. So we've got an opportunity right now to pre-position certain vendors, as long as they're the right vendors, for free on the platform instead of what will an upfront cost. So we're quite early. With regards to numbers, we could say, look, this is a proven business model. We've got involved in doing this before, and we had a membership base that grew into in excess of 250,000 in America, and just in a few months in the UK, a few thousand members here in the UK. But now we're taking that and we're sort of reinventing that shopping model. We could be talking tens or hundreds of thousands, but what I would say, the better the community of vendors we bring on now, the right vendors, could very much impact the number of members we'll have, because it could become a chicken and egg scenario, really.
Great. Very, very helpful. And of course, if we're doing a three-way call with you, Philip, and that question comes up, then you can provide far more information. But that's really helpful, I think, for anyone to set the stage the way you just did. So thanks for that.
Pleasure.
Now, uppermost on the minds of many vendors, of course, will be the cost to get started and to continue. So right now, there is no cost to get started. There's no enrollment fee right now. And so without any upfront cost, the vendor will have a fully functioning e-commerce page at Incentivise. And then after 30 days, the monthly website fee kicks in, which is somewhere around $20 to $30, somewhere in that range. Now, later there will be a startup cost for new vendors. We don't know when, we don't know how much, but we're talking about right now and approaching vendors now. And this can be a key point for them. We can get you started now with no upfront cost. And then as Incentivise charge, as to the Incentivise charge per sale, the percentage is 35% of the final cost of each product, the sale price of each product. So, and we do have some other alternatives, but before we shift to that, Philip, is this correct? Do you want to add something, correct something?
No, again, perfectly correct information. Great stuff, Jeanie. Thank you.
Okay. Now, we will work with vendors to get them on board, but we do expect certain basic skills and materials like photos and product descriptions and all that kind of stuff that's probably already been complete. So that there could be an additional cost there, but that's that's on their hook. And also they are responsible for handling the fulfillment of their products. Now, there is an alternative to all of this, and many of our members are already aware of this, and we call them super affiliates or maybe just affiliates, but this is available because not every vendor is right for Incentivise. And so we offer this where members can also be paid to shop. And this might be especially helpful for a vendor who doesn't quite feel that the 35% is appropriate, or for any other reason. So, Philip, can you maybe suggest some other reasons we might have in mind if we are talking with a potential vendor and we're thinking Incentivise, and then suddenly we realize, oops, no, what might we want to know in an early stage about super affiliates?
Okay, so really, I would be upfront with people when we're talking about Incentivise and explaining to them from the outset that we have a two-tier business model for vendors and business partners. The premier branded partners would be on our Incentivise platform. They'd have their own store, and it would all be hosted and tied in, etc. To be on there, we need a 35% margin on the sales price. Now, I understand that in your particular business model, 35% would be a dream on stilts for you. I'm aware you don't operate with that margin yourself, let alone able to give it away. So what we have for you, and here's the thing, probably 75 to 80% of the businesses out there will be more aligned with fitting into our super affiliate model. And they give anything traditionally from, let's look, from 5% up to 25% of the sales margin. Okay, so there is a way of them becoming affiliates. It depends on the product's margins that they're in. So yeah, always be aware that there's more than one business model here. We are looking more for super affiliates right now because hey, we've already got 126 super affiliates. So we're looking more for Incentivise to build this business, especially in the markets in the UK, Canada, and Australia, because you know out of the 126 super affiliates, probably 97 of them are USA specific. So we're looking to expand the Incentivise platform. Thanks, Jeanie.
Great. All right, wonderful. So I've highlighted two other key points that I want to discuss one at a time. And then, Philip, you might have some others that don't seem to have been answered that you want to identify. But the next one I'm calling member reward for bringing in a vendor. Okay, so each member who introduces and brings in a new vendor will be receiving a 2% override on all the sales. And just to be clear, that 2% comes from the 35% that Incentivise makes on each sale. So it's not an extra 2%, it comes from that. Philip, you've clearly said that you're available as a go-to person to help members get these early vendors on board. So do you want to expand on any of that or anything that I've just said?
It's fine. More than happy to help anybody here. And of course, anyone that introduces someone, they get that 2% override through the system, through the platform. I don't get any share in that. I don't want any share in that. I'm more than happy to spend time building the platform out for the benefit of everyone. But here's the thing. If you have the right contacts, or you know people who have the right contacts, this is very much could be seen as a business within a business here. When you realize that there's a 2% override fee, especially if you can bring in a vendor who, for whatever reason, has an extended circle of other like-minded vendors. Right? Maybe they're high up in a trade association. Maybe they've got 2,500 members. You imagine how many people they would love to introduce to Incentivise and our Incentivise shopping platform because of the simplicity of it, with no upfront cost right now. People who know business people would really love to know about this platform. Trust me, they really, really would. And I'm going to bring on Tess and Colin, who you alluded to, Jeanie, a bit later. So maybe we'll bring some more of a vendor's perspective to that as well. Yeah.
Perfect. And I also want to say that I'm available to help others also. I don't have the wealth of knowledge yet. I'm learning. I'm an apprentice.
You're getting there quickly, girl. You're getting there quickly.
But as Philip, although he didn't say it this way, I'm not concerned about upline, downline, or countries or whatever. I'm here to be part of this whole process. So I hope that I can also add value there, because I just just love this whole idea of creating what we are creating. So the final topic I've identified this way: rewarding vendors for bringing in other vendors. And as we've just said, any member who invites a vendor to the platform and is accepted gets the 2% of the profit from what the platform makes for the life of the products. So any vendor who wants to benefit from sponsoring other vendors must become a member. And the membership is $500 plus California tax, outrageous as it is. Not as high as the UK though, and then $25 per month. And all this may change, but right now, for where we are, that's how it is. At least that's my understanding. Is that correct, Philip?
That's correct, Jeanie. Yes, so we're talking a one-off cost for this is for members and for anyone. I know we're concentrating on vendors here, but Jeanie is quite right. For any vendors that I alluded to that know other vendors, for them to have the 2% override, they have to upgrade and become members themselves. If they wish to do so, it's a one-off $500 plus the exorbitant California state tax, which is less than 50% of the UK VAT. So you'll get no sympathy off me in California.
No,
right?
I know.
So, Jeanie, thank you. I think this is a
Okay.
wonderful time maybe to introduce Colin and Tess Steventon as well. I'd love you to stay on and co-host this part. It's only going to be 5-10 minutes. We're nearly wrapping up, but I'd love if you have any questions to ask of them, especially after the...
Okay.
I don't even feel I need to introduce them because you did such a wonderful introduction earlier on. So I've just unmuted Colin and Tess from the UK over here with me. Hi, are you both there? Would you like to join in the conversation and just take up from where Jeanie and I left off, really, about why you've come back into this industry as vendors and how you've now been tempted to even come in as a member so you can help other vendors in the way that you feel you've been helped with this platform as well. Are you there, Tess, Colin?
Hello,
Hi.
yes.
Hi, we're here.
Hi, everyone.
Wonderful.
We're both here.
Fab.
Yeah, thank you very much. Listening to both you, Philip and Jeanie, it's very interesting for us from the perspective of vendors, because, the things that you say, how to approach a vendor, what I would say to everybody is don't be scared. One of the things about us being vendors, we are so delighted that we had the conversation with you, Philip, to come on board. We see the opportunity. We see an opportunity. We had, we are college tutors by day, business owners by night, and entrepreneurs by choice. We have had in the past what we would call conventional businesses, and they paid money. They were good. But of course, when either of us stopped working in our conventional business, the money didn't come in. It's one of those things. We then turned at one stage to multi-level marketing, network marketing, a few years back, and have to say, thoroughly enjoyed it and were quite successful in that field as well. But there were some downsides. And one of the things that we found was a potential downside to being in that particular kind of business was that there's no soul to it, quite honestly. It's one of those things where, people like me, it's all, pick me. Everybody's vying for first place. Everybody's, battling to get to the top, and they're not really concerned about whose heads they're stepping on to get there. That wasn't really what we were looking for. And the expression that you used about entrepreneurial vendors, and I know Gavin has commented on that in the side box, being a perfect description for what we have here. Yes, we're entrepreneurs by choice because we believe in making a difference, making our own future, but making things different for other people as well. As college tutors, the product, that we became most interested in over the past couple of years has been nutritional supplements, because that is one of the various different classes that we would go out and teach to the community, all about nutrition and how to make people's lives better in some way, shape or form, educating people and about nutrition. So to us, this is an extension of that, but we can see the whole picture here now. At first, wasn't too sure. It was like, oh, wow, this is like, really innovative. This is really something different. It's a whole mixture of things going on. There's e-commerce. We had our own website, and with Colin's expertise on Google and his SEO and other little tricks that he does, we were creeping up the ranks quite well on Google. So we had some customers. We didn't feel part of a community, and that was the bit that was missing for us. And this is what I think the Incentivise platform can offer us. It gives back. It gives us an opportunity to be talking to people, to interact with people, to not just sell them a product, but to provide a service and to recreate a community online. We've talked about the demise of business premises, of shops closing, of bricks and mortar, of the expense that's involved in that for vendors out on the high street. And as I've said before, it does sadden me when you see shops literally closing down. But there is no soul in a shopping mall. You go out, there might be some glitzy shops available, but it's not that you actually meet with people there. It's not that you can talk to people there. You become a friendly community or whatever. So we think that the Incentivise platform is going to be absolutely brilliant at bringing people together. It's going to be for the good of everybody. And as vendors, we are delighted that there is actually, and I think Jeanie put this, she summarised the targeted and incentivised traffic. I mean, how good is that? If we're looking for people to buy our product, there's an actual community who are getting paid to do so. So for anybody that's thinking of bringing on a vendor as well, I would say you have got a first-class opportunity to allow people to do what they do, which is sell product to other people, but in a much more holistic way and in a way where everybody gets rewarded for this.
Yeah, anyone can start up a website, but without traffic, you've got nothing. This is a great way of getting people in. You've got loads of customers coming on, and it's a great way to get your products out there. You'd be daft not to join and be a part of it.
Philip, are you there?
Sorry, I'm dead. I'm back.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I was saying thank you very much, and it's so true, because the e-commerce, yes, we all know it's growing. It's gone from 1.7 to 2.1 trillion. Say it's going to go to 4 trillion by 2020, but it's such a cluttered space out there. There's so much noise to try and get your presence through to actual customers who are ready to buy with their wallets out and not just looking for looking's sake. What part of the buying process are they in? How long have you got to nurture the relationship? How long is it going to take them to buy? Here, as Jeanie said, and you've rightly pointed out, targeted, incentivized traffic. Here's the one sentence that to me sums it up. Excuse me, Mr. Businessman, would you like us to pay our members to buy your products? Would you like us to pay our members to buy your products? That's it. Just all you got to ask, and then shut up and wait for them to say something coherent, right? Because people will be interested when they understand. And here's where Jeanie will say that's maybe a little bit more than enough information, but I'm going to push it just a little bit here at the end, okay? When people understand that this is not just about selling goods one time and making profit off a casual passing traffic online, this is about being part of a community that is doing something together for the greater good. And any vendors that take part in that, especially now in the initial stages, my goodness, the goodwill that could be bought now will be enough to feast on for generations, for families that take action now. I really do believe that. Anyway, thank you very much. Jeanie, is there anything you'd like to ask of Colin or Tess, please?
Yes, and actually a little bit of piggybacking off what you just said about the idea of having regular customers. I mean, when you have products that need to be renewed regularly, then having a regular customer base is really key. And there's something else that my dentist really caught on to, and I've watched both Tess and Colin in this also, and that is of getting clearer than ever about how to be global, not just sell within your own country, but to be global. He's already doing some of it. I guess you were already doing some of it. But here is a platform that offers a global audience for those who really want that. Do you want to say anything to that, Tess or Colin?
Well, thank you. Yes, that's an excellent point, because it's something which we are now able to do. We are now able to offer to a global audience through the Incentivise platform. And it wasn't something that we found as easy to do just as an online vendor before, because as Philip says, there's a lot of clutter out there. There's a lot of noise, and Colin's pointed out as well that for anybody that sells online, everybody knows how difficult it can be to reach their target market. They may well have a good idea of who the target market is, and they will try all the tricks in the trade to get there, but that all costs money. And you know, the value for money that you get as a vendor, being as part of Incentivise, is that, you know, for a small nominal fee, monthly fee to stay onto that platform, you're going to be negating the costs of trying to reach a global market that you'd otherwise have to, you know, fight for on the internet space. So yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, and quite rightly too, excuse me, that we can actually offer this.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Philip?
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Jeanie. Appreciate it. I've really enjoyed this two-part series. Thank you for insisting on drawing this information out into the public arena. I appreciate that. I'm sure we'll do it again on many other things. Thank you very much, Jeanie. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Tess. I really appreciate your contribution this evening as well. And it's wonderful to hear your enthusiasm coming through. It makes me smile. It really does. So listen, we do these Monday masterclasses, guess what, every Monday. Next week, we're going to change gears somewhat. I'm going to be joined by Mr. Gavin J. Kerr, also here in the UK, who's just about to unmute himself and join me for the last 5 minutes of this webinar. I just want to ask Gavin some of the things that he, not going into too much detail because he's going to give us the chapter and verse next week, but give us some idea of what he's going to cover, which really is identifying maybe why he's one of the most successful people growing his business right now, specifically within my community anyway. Whatever he's doing, I would suggest that people who want a little bit more success than they currently are having, listen to what Gavin has to say, because with what he's doing on social media and the way he's exposing his business right now, he's doing a damn good job of it. So Gavin, you with us, sir?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I had a bit of trouble unmuting my mic there.
That's all right, no problem. You came in on key. You carry on, so no problem. So listen, yeah, Gavin. So give us a few words. What I wanted to allude to as well, and I wanted you to stay on and go through it with me. Okay, we'll jam it together. As people might be wondering, Gavin's just heard me say the words "jam it together." He's now started sweating profusely. Thinking,
No, I'm good.
What's it? Right. Okay, cool. So, is what I wish I knew before I started the company. But I was going to allude to that earlier, and of course, it's been there right through everyone talking, and it's going to be here through you talking. So, we'll just finish that. It's 6 slides I just wanted to go through this evening, just as an aside. So, we'll come back to that, and we'll do that together. So, just alluding to why that's there. Gavin, what are you doing right now? And how are you doing it? And where are you finding these people who seem to be very interested in what you're telling them?
Well, for me, I don't promote the business. I mean, I've only recently, I would say, since the tail end of last year, learnt what attraction marketing was. You know, a lot of people were talking about it. I didn't really know. And then I sort of looked into it a little bit more and thought, you know what? You can actually get people coming to you if you just don't talk about your business all the time. You see many profiles as like billboards for their business. There's no mystery, there's no curiosity, because they can just get all the information they want about what you're doing from your Facebook wall. So for me, my plan of attack, without going into all the details, we'll go into that next week, is just basically adding as much value and telling stories. I did a post just the other day that let's hear more stories, because stories really sell. And people are just talking about comp plans and earn this and earn that. You pay this, you get that. And it's just, people are numb to it. I don't know about you, but it's the same thing throughout pretty much my whole feed. And by just stepping back, sharing stories, things I've learned, adding value, I'm getting people messaging me and asking me what I do, rather than me trying to pitch people all the time on my wall. So I think that for me has been a big turning point. I don't have people messaging me every day crazy, because I'm not posting out ridiculous income claims that people do. You've all seen it. Someone will say, turn $10 into $5,000 monthly, and you'll get all these people asking for info. It's just insane. But the people that do come through to me are quality. They stay the course. They build teams. And like attracts like. And for me, that's what I'm doing. It's not, I would rather spend a year getting 3 quality marketers than get 3 people through a week that just don't stay. So I think that's been the secret, really. Well, not the secret, but why it's going better for me that way, because I'm just not bearing all the time like many do.
Wonderful. I love that. That's music to my ears. I wasn't going to let you stop talking then. That's fantastic. Well done, Gavin. Appreciate that. And the success that you're having is showing through. It surely is in your success, in your results. And that will start to duplicate within your team now as well, because everyone I'm talking to, when I'm talking within your team, Gavin's marketing and the way he does this, and he's such a great upline, and it will come through within your business. And it's just like putting out the right karma. It really, really is. And thank you for that, Gavin. So listen, what I wish I knew before I started a company, I was looking through earlier and I found this, looking on SlideShare. I'd love to find the name of the lady. So this is a lady that did this, and the reason for that will come through about 5 slides in. Okay. But I thought I'd share this because I knew I had 2 fellow ladies on, 2 lady presenters on with me this evening, and we don't have enough women in this business, right? So I'm doffing a hat and saying, if you know any female entrepreneurs, any female business-minded individuals, any females that have a need for a part-time income or a desire to do something better with their part-time life, then please start sharing this business with them, because you know something, and this isn't me being sexist, this is me being factual, this is shopping, right? And it's about monetizing shopping. And if we can't find women, they don't have to be powerful women with some gumption and there's so many women out there right now who are much, much, much savvier shoppers and know much more about this world than me or Gavin do. Right, so let's start empowering the female army here to start monetizing their shopping as well. And I'm coming from someone who is the son of a single parent back in the 60s. Right, I'm all for empowering women, so let's do that. So the reason I wanted to share that is this lady, once she said what she wished to know, she could ask herself before she started the company. So let me just whiz through this quite quickly. First of all, I want you to know what she started. Okay, she motivated designer in staffing and research, and she designed a shop, and she founded this business in 2009. Okay, and she wanted to ask herself these particular questions. I don't want to go into that much detail too much, but which number one she wanted to know was business karma trumps a business plan. And I just alluded to that with Gavin just now. Business karma trust a business plan. The more you put into business, your feeling, your heart, or you're doing it for the right reasons, your desire, that will beat the right business plan every single time. Okay, so put yourself into your business first rather than just a cold-hearted business plan. Anything you'd like to share on that one, Gavin?
No, I think that's encapsulated perfectly what I was trying to get across. You know, like I say, stories sell so much. You know, people need to relate to what you're doing, and that's how you'll attract people.
See, look at this. In the long run, being kind will get you further than any business strategy. We're able to grow organically through repeat work and word of mouth because we are nice people.
Yes,
right?
that's it.
And you know, here's the thing. You can tell that a woman did this because a man wouldn't have wrote those words, because we are nice people.
Yeah.
Right? So we need that female in our life. We really, really do. So let's make meaningful connections, and let's put business karma ahead of business plan. Which number 2? Realize nobody knows everything, including you, including me. Right? And that's all encompassing. Nobody knows everything. Okay, what do you need to know? Okay, well, what do you need to know, and what do I know, and focus on what you know. What do you want to know so you know where you're going? What do I want to leave behind so I know what I'm building, and what is I believe in, and what am I willing and not willing to do? So those are the things you need to know, because this is something else, Gavin, you alluded to as well. People lead with the money. Let me show you to make 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 in X amount of time. It can never be about the money. It's not about the money. It's about what you want to leave behind. It's about what you believe in. And it's certainly about what you're willing and not willing to do. Why is it these days that people have a brain transplant, and if something's online and someone says, I'll show you how to make 15,000 a month, they don't say, what is it? They say, how do I do it? Where's people's moral compass gone to check upon what are they expected to do? Are they prepared to do it? What are they expected to do to other people? Are they prepared to do it? Etc., etc. So we have to talk to people's higher cause and higher reasoning than let me show you how to work X amount a month. Which number 3? Not everyone I hire will succeed. And this is true, not everyone I go into business with will succeed. Not everyone I bring into this business will succeed. And we have to release ourselves from being tied to other people's failure. Because if we tie ourselves to other people's failure, then we're tying ourselves to certain doom, not certain success, because it's a fact. Not everyone will succeed. Okay, so realize that as well. Some employees suck, right? Some people you thought you knew, right, that you wanted to do business with, they end up sucking. You wish you hadn't done business with them. That's life, okay? And it's not your fault. That's what this universe is all about. There's, you know, Jim Rohn who said, you know, get your own planet, you can rearrange the whole deal, right? I wish number 4, find people that are better than me. Oh, I wish I'd started doing that years ago. I wish years ago I'd realized it's a wise man that is never the wisest man in the room, right? Don't be the smartest man in the room. Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Find people who are better than you. And look, that's important as well. What do you love to do? What are you doing right now? And what are necessary things that need to be done that you don't love to do? So if there are necessary things that you don't love to do, would it not make sense to find people whose circle of things they love overlap the bits that are necessary things that you don't love to do, right? So can you see how sometimes opposites need to attract and sometimes likes can attract as well? I love that. And it's so you need everything to run a profitable business. So bolster your weaknesses by using other people's strengths. And wish number 5, having kids will propel my business. And this is why I gave you advance warning. This was written by a lady, because why did having kids propel her business? Because 2 months after founding her business, she found that she was pregnant. Okay. And having 2 children forced her to change her business from one that needed her constant attention to one that could run without her, because she was busy being a full-time mother. And when she returned to work, she found that the team was doing so great, she realized she had to create a new job for her because they were doing their whole one better than she was, right? Well, I love that story, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. And there's a timeline there. You can take a screenshot of this. We've gone well over the hour. I do apologize for that, but hopefully you found value in this. I wanted to end with, found the business in 2009. First child, not a 12-month after. Changed the business to one that could run without her. Listen to that. Isn't that marvelous? Changed the business to one that could run without her. Hired a new team, focused on sales, then had a second child, new partners, new office block, wrote a book, did a TEDx talk, planned for growth, and now she's going strength to strength, 2016, and a mother of 2. So let's not hear so many people's excuses, okay, of why they can't do it. And thank you. Gavin, thanks for joining us this evening. I appreciate that. Is there anything you want to add to that? Then feel free, my friend, if you want to help me round up with that.
No, I'm just looking forward to next week, Philip.
Great stuff. Thank you, Jeanie. I do appreciate everything. Is there anything you want to say, Jeanie, to help round up? Because you're my co-host this evening, the hostess with the mostest. You come and end this evening with me. Anything you want to share on that last little impromptu presentation I shared?
Well, I love the presentation. I thought it was very appropriate, and thank you for that. And I've so enjoyed this call, and of course working with you, Philip, and having Colin and Tess on, and knowing that Gavin will be with us next week. So it's just been a delight to be with you all.
Fantastic, and the delight is not just yours. I can assure you, Jeanie. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Tess. Thank you, everybody who's listened in and joined us live. And make sure that you have just watched it, listened to this, and watched this. Pass this on to somebody else that you feel will benefit from the knowledge that you now have for just spending a little bit over an hour with us. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Good night. All the best.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.